She noticed him again through the glass reflection, the same tall figure a few steps behind, his shadow stretching toward her like a question she could not hear. Her heart began to pound, not because of noise, but because fear does not need sound to be loud. As her hands trembled, she signed the only words she could think of to a stranger nearby, begging for help with her eyes. What happened next would leave everyone watching in silence, shocked by the truth no one expected. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and stories that remind us humanity still exists, take a moment right now to like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps these stories reach hearts that need them most. She had been deaf since birth, growing up in a world where emotions were read on faces instead of voices, and danger often arrived without warning. Life had never been easy, but she learned to survive with courage, reading lips, using sign language, and trusting her instincts. Poverty shaped her childhood, teaching her early that strength was not loud but steady. Every morning she woke up in a small rented room, prepared herself carefully, and stepped into a city that rarely slowed down for people like her. She worked long hours cleaning tables and washing dishes at a small cafe, where customers often noticed her silence before her smile. That afternoon, the cafe was busy with soft chatter she could not hear, but she could feel the vibration of movement all around her. While wiping a table near the window, she sensed someone watching. She looked up and saw a man seated with a little girl on his lap. The child's curls bounced as she moved, her small hands wrapped around a cup. The man's posture was protective, his arms gently around the child, his expression calm but alert. Something about him felt familiar, but she brushed the thought away. Later, as her shift ended and she stepped outside, she felt that same presence again. Through the crowd, she spotted him a few steps behind. Panic crept into her chest. For someone who could not hear footsteps or warning shouts, being followed was terrifying. Every instinct screamed danger. She walked faster, her breath shallow, checking reflections in windows. He was still there, steady, unhurried. Her past had taught her fear. Men who misunderstood her silence as weakness, strangers who mocked her signs, moments when she needed help but could not call for it. The city had not always been kind, so when she saw him again at the next corner, her hands began to shake. She tried to lose him by changing directions, but he adjusted his path too, still keeping distance, never close enough to touch, but never far enough to disappear. Near a bus stop she finally broke. She turned to a woman standing nearby and urgently signed, pointing behind her, her eyes wide with terror. The woman followed her gaze and immediately stiffened. Others nearby noticed too. Within moments, attention shifted to the man. The man stopped instantly when he realized the crowd was watching him. He raised his hands slowly, not in defense, but in understanding. He stepped back and gently guided the little girl behind him, shielding her without aggression. His face showed confusion mixed with concern, not anger. People whispered, assumptions forming quickly, judgment moving faster than truth. He reached into his bag carefully and pulled out a folded paper, holding it up so others could see. On it was a simple printed message, written clearly and slowly, explaining that he was a single father, that he had noticed the young woman was deaf earlier at the cafe, and that she had dropped her wallet without realizing it. Inside the wall, it were her work ID, a small photo, and her rent money. He had been trying to return it, but each time he approached, she walked faster. Afraid of frightening her more, he stayed back, hoping for a moment when she would stop. The crowd fell silent. The tension shifted into something heavier, something closer to shame. The woman who had first noticed stepped forward and took the wallet from his hand, opening it carefully. Inside was exactly what he described. The deaf girl's eyes filled with tears as she recognized her belongings. Her hands flew to her mouth as understanding crashed over her like a wave. She looked at the man again, really looked this time. His eyes were kind, tired, the eyes of someone who had learned responsibility the hard way. The little girl peeked out from behind him, curiosity replacing fear. The deaf girl felt the weight of her mistake, but also the relief of safety she hadn't felt in a long time. The man slowly stepped forward and gently held out the wallet. He bowed his head slightly, a universal gesture of respect. She took it with shaking hands, her shoulders collapsing as emotion poured through her. She signed a heartfelt apology, tears streaming down her face, her gratitude overflowing in every movement of her hands. Though he could not understand sign language fully, he understood her emotion perfectly. Others around them felt it too. A moment earlier, the scene had been filled with suspicion. Now it was filled with quiet understanding. Strangers wiped their eyes. Some nodded in respect. A few parents held their children closer, reminded of how easily fear can distort truth. The man smiled gently and tapped his chest, then pointed to his daughter, then to her wallet, making it clear that he only wanted to help. The little girl waved shyly, and the deaf girl laughed through tears, returning the wave. In that small exchange, something powerful passed between them, trust restored. Over the next few minutes, the crowd dispersed, but the moment lingered. The deaf girl stood there, clutching her wallet, realizing how close she had come to losing not just money, but faith in humanity. She had lived so long on guard that kindness had started to look like danger, and yet here it was, standing in front of her, patient and quiet. That day changed her. She returned to her small room later that night and cried, not from fear, but from release. She wrote about the experience in her notebook, describing how a single act of honesty had broken through years of loneliness. She promised herself to trust a little more, to let kindness reach her even when fear tried to block it. For the man, it was another reminder of the world his daughter was growing up in. He taught her that night, through gestures and gentle explanations, that helping others matters, even when it is misunderstood. That sometimes doing the right thing means standing still while others doubt you. If this story is touching your heart right now, if you feel that quiet ache mixed with hope, please pause for a moment and engage with this video. Like it, share it, and let others feel this reminder that kindness still exists. Before the ending, we have a special request for you. Please comment below what this story made you feel, or share a moment when someone's kindness surprised you. Your words might inspire someone who needs it today. The city moved on the next day, loud and busy as ever, but for 2 lives, something had shifted. A deaf girl learned that not every shadow hides danger, and a single father proved that patience and goodness can speak louder than words. In a world full of fear, one silent act of honesty shocked everyone, not because it was dramatic, but because it was pure.